Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the Hoflek of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yahweh, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah, not Hashem, not Yahweh, Haveh, Vaveh. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, not Yahusha. Not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos. It's Yahweh Shah. So got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elder, bishop, and elders of great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim believing this truth and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shedding light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwal who are listening learning. If you sis while listening learning, I'm Isaiah from GMS Orlando, Camp Prophet of Doom, coming at you with no lesson, true facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord willing to be edifying. So this is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own the copyright to these videos. This is for educational purposes only. Lord willing, you'll be edified.
I feel like nobody talks about how hard it is for people in their 20s, how stressful it is. Like, I'm working a 9 to 5. I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I don't know if I want to climb the corporate ladder. I don't know if I want to start a business. It is just so hard because, like, rent is expensive. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive. It's just so hard living on a day-to-day basis. I have no idea what I'm doing, and it's just so stressful.
But isn't this what women wanted? You wanted to be strong and independent. You said you didn't need us. Why are you complaining about what you fought for? I don't get it.
Viral attention for sharing her regrets about ditching the idea of marriage and family. Now, her article in Business Insider reads, quote, "I'm 38 and single, and I recently realized I want a child. I'm terrified that I've missed my opportunity." That woman's name is Melissa Persling, and she's revealing to Fox News Digital what she thinks caused her current situation. Listen.
I feel unbelievably betrayed by feminism. I was constantly fed this idea that women can do everything. We don't really need men. Women can have the great career and have the kids that they like and change the tires and do this. I mean, I grew up thinking, and men are great, but like I can do all the same things. I do feel in many ways betrayed by that line of thinking. I kind of want to go back to some of those teachers and coaches and say, what the hell did you mean by that? Because women can't do it all. We can't.
They always realize it when it's too late. They make a lot of noise when they're younger, but after getting old, they realize things are different. 15 years too late.
And let me tell you why. But listen, I'm a very independent woman. I'm 38 years old. I've been doing this for a very long time. However, I'm tired. I don't want to take the trash out anymore. I'm sick of playing red light, green light, stop with my child. I'm sick of every time it's time to, throw it away in the dump. Here she go. Mama, let's do rock, paper, scissors, shoot to see who. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot your behind over there before I bust you upside your head with this bag of trash. That's what you can shoot and do. You can shoot and go on, little girl, because I take it out every day. Every single day, I take this trash out. Another thing, I decided to play Bob the Builder and hang up TVs in my home. cannot vouch for the stability of any of these TVs that I have hung. I'm almost certain that the one in the living room, I'm just waiting for it to be about 2:30 in the morning and I hear a loud bang and I just come out to find the one in the living room is on the floor.
They always need a man for something. They have nothing to offer. They just want the benefits of the patriarchy and curse it out when it doesn't favor them anymore. We'll pass on this one.
I'm going to be turning 39 a week from tomorrow, and I am still single, and that makes me sad. Yeah, my own cats are running from me. If you had told 25-year-old Rihanna that on her 39th birthday she would still be unmarried with no children, I would have laughed in your face or been so angry in disbelief, because that is not what I envisioned for my life. In my early 20s, I was never that girl that wanted to get married right away and have a young family. I wanted to be able to experience life. But probably around 25, 26 is when I was like, I do want to be married. And it has just never happened for me for whatever reason. And I have spent years wondering what is wrong with me. Is there something about me? Am I just not supposed to ever be with someone? And the reality is I don't know if I will ever find my person. And I hope that I do. And I want to have children. But at what point do you let that dream go?
Didn't feminists push articles down our throats that single women are happier? Doesn't look that way to me. The real epidemic is the female loneliness epidemic. At 39, you need to be realistic. It is too late for you.
Whoever fought for women to get jobs, why? Why did we do that? I am so tired. I want to just put my feet up. Like, oh my God.
No more equality? You don't want to deal with what we men deal with every day of our lives? I wonder how you women will hold up by 2030. Can't wait.
Yeah, you heard me right. I am renouncing feminism. Now, before you react, hear me out. I am a 29-year-old single woman with no support system, no direction, no future, really. And I'm in this position because of feminism. Like, feminism told me that I should, like, go out partying and drinking, and that it, like, somehow made me, like, a whole empowered woman to spend my most fertile years hooking up with random strangers, when all it did is make me an alcoholic with no romantic prospects. And feminism, it turned me against men. Like, it drove a wedge between me and the man that I love. And because it told me that I should, like, emasculate him with my, I don't know, masculine willpower and independence, when I should have just trusted him to love me and take care of me, which is what men need to feel loved. And now I can't even go out and meet someone new because feminism told me that, like, all men are potential predators.
Somebody say Kevin Samuel tried to warn you. Night is here. Winter is here. Look at this female loneliness
And threats,
epidemic.
but the thing is, most of them aren't even like that.
Man.
Feminism took away my ability to trust men. But only an insane person keeps doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So I am going to change my life, and I am starting by renouncing feminism.
This is what happens when you need women to start being accountable for their actions. They start to hate the system they set up themselves. It's pathetic. You made this bed. You have to lie in it.
My heart truly aches for the younger versions of me that felt so optimistic and hopeful about love. The version of me that would watch Disney movies or read books.
And we know this does not apply to all women. Because there's some hopeful like women out there spiritually that never wanted to be on their own if they don't have a man. Because this truth make you a real man. This truth make you a real woman. So no woman in her right mind would ever want to be on her own. But like Apostle could always make the point, this world moves off insanity, which is carnality, right? Hey, to be in this truth, as Apostle Bob always say, to have this truth for the Lord to reactivate you, you have to be sane. You have to be sane. To live in this world without Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is insanity. So no woman in her right mind want to be by herself. Hey, but this goes back to Eve wanting to have a power over Adam, man. This goes back to Eve wanting to have power over Adam. She wanted to be the authority. So, and just like we all had to suffer as a nation of people, all 12 tribes of Israel had to suffer for what happened to us as a nation of people. When you read Exodus 24, when the Lord said, we said everything that the Lord has said we would do. So, and we under these curses, man. And we know it's women out there that don't want to do it by themselves, man. They never want to do it by themselves. But that's a part of their testimony. That's a part of their walk. We all got to deal with our situation. We all got to take part in, hey, the Lord got us dealing with our situation, which is a testimony, so you can share it to another person. So you can explain it to another brother or another Akwab, another sister that went through something similar with another sister, or another brother went through something similar. We all got to have these testimonies. Because the Lord raising up he-goats. And I've been making this point a lot lately. Hey, when they tell you in 1 Corinthians 4, when the Lord raised up the apostles last, see, everything had to happen. Esau had to destroy the earth. He had to create the atom bomb, split the atom. Now they got nuclear capability, which is these intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right, the Joel 3, when the Lord said, beat your plowshares, let all the nations draw near, all the heathens, the Gentile, let them come up, beat your plowshares and the swords and the prune hooks and the spears. All this had to happen. Obadiah 1, the Lord said, when Esau set his nest amongst the stars, this would he bring them down. All this had to happen, so when the Lord raised up the apostles, the prophets, now we can point fingers at all these things that has happened in the earth. It all points back to the self-proclaimed so-called white man. But all these things had to be fulfilled first. So when the Lord set the prophets on the earth, and see, this is why you shouldn't do this. This is why Jude, it reads in Jude 1, the example of how not to live. He said, the Lord set the apostles up last to filter everything that the so-called white man has done on the earth since they've been in power since the 1300s. Everything they have done, it was already written in the scriptures. And if the so-called white man knew that, he would have destroyed the Bibles a long time ago. But they don't know, because the Lord put it in parables. As the head brother Nahari, my big brother, always say, the Lord knew the phone was tapped. So he set up the code, talking in code, which is the parables, the similitudes, the allegories, the dark sayings. The Lord knew the phone was tapped. If Esau knew what the Lord knew, we wouldn't have the Bible to filter anything through. But the Lord said he preserved his word from this generation to give it to the prophets that he was going to raise up after Esau filled that lot up of establishing from the first industrial revolution all the way to the fourth one. That had to happen. So now we filtering all the things that Esau have done through the scriptures. And one of the downfalls of the self-proclaimed so-called white man system, his last queendom, is the so-called white woman on the job at the plantation. The so-called white woman wearing pants. Because we know for a fact back in the 50s and 60s, in the 1800s, the so-called white woman had on dresses, man. They had on dresses. There wasn't no damn pants. But then the Lord had it with some so-called white woman, some Edomite woman created pants for women. Then they want to go to the plantation. Hey, but it's a lot more. I'm gonna let this video play. I got 2 other videos.
Or look at other people around her
stay tuned.
and think, I can't wait for that to be me one day. Because right now in this moment, when I picture a relationship, love, marriage, I feel nothing. For the first time in my life, I feel numb to the thought of love. And this makes me feel horrible because I feel like I'm letting my younger self down. And even the very, very few experiences that I can count on one hand that I've had where I truly in the moment was like, yeah, this is what I was waiting for, every single one was ripped away from me. In fact, when I was a young girl, I thought that love was just guaranteed. It didn't once cross my mind for 1 second that I might be a certain age and I would never have been in a relationship before, that I would never have been in love before, that maybe, just maybe there was a chance that I might never even get married or even just get to experience something as simple as commitment from someone else. I remember in my early 20s, I didn't bat an eyelash over the fact that I had never been in a relationship before, that I had never had a boyfriend like everyone else did in high school. So I was like, I got time. I'll definitely be in a relationship and be married before I'm 30. Yeah, well, safe to say that didn't happen.
What you need is some bear love, because no way in hell will a man pursue love where he's not needed. Women need to keep pushing their feminism propaganda, and we men will be keeping our wallets and mental health in check.
I'm going to get vulnerable and talk about the weight of loneliness and being single. For some reason, this week has hit me very, very hard. And I know I'm not alone in that feeling, so if you can relate, please let me know. And I'm really not sure what it is. Maybe it's daylight savings and the fact that it's dark at 5 p.m., but typically I feel really good and happy about where I am in life. I'm so grateful. I have so many blessings and amazing things. The ability to take care of myself in itself is such an accomplishment and something to be proud of. But it's hard not to get hung up on the fact that every single decision, every single responsibility, everything falls on me. Big, small, medium, it doesn't matter. I have to do it all. I have to take care of it all. And there's no one to share that weight with. There's no one to say, hey, can you just take this and help me?
I hear the bear is single and searching. You might want to look into that.
I've been single my entire life. I'm going to be turning 42 in August, and I've never had anybody love me or desire me or want to be with me. And I have so much love that I feel like that is inside of me with nowhere to go because it can't transfer to friends or my family or my parents because it's something separate, it's something different. And I've gathered all of this love since I was in high school, and then it just sits there and it eats me alive sometimes. And I'm bringing this up, oh my gosh, I just slammed my hand off of that. Sorry, I'm bringing this up because I'm lonely and sad and the world is hard and horrible.
For years, women have been telling men how worthless we are, how it's all men till it's no men. Men aren't wanted or needed. And when men tried to defend themselves, you doubled down and pointed out that we don't care about them. Then thousands of videos of women picking the bear because men can't be trusted. Women really aren't lonely enough.
I'm so tired of doing everything by myself. And I know that everybody's like, oh my God, that's so cool that you're so brave. No, I'm fucking tired of it. It's exhausting. And probably like, oh, it's your own fault you don't have friends, which like, yeah, it is my own fault. But I do things, I go places, but I don't fit in anywhere. I go play bingo. Everybody's very nice, but they don't want to be my friends because they're 40 years older than me. I ride my motorcycle and everybody's very nice, but we're not actually friends because they're grown men with wives and families, and we can't be friends. You can't be friends. I go to festivals by myself, do everything by myself. I just want friends. And I know you're probably like, well, maybe you should stay put longer than 6 weeks. I do. I've been here 4 months straight. Well, I went to my dad's house for a week. Oh no. I just want friends. It's fucking exhausting. And everybody's like, no, I wish I could be like you. No, you don't. Lonely as fuck. There's no drama. I talk to my phone all day. I don't remember the last time I said more than 3 sentences to somebody in real life at all. February, maybe? Shit fucking sucks.
Blame feminism, I guess. Or maybe you're not a good person to be around. You're the common denominator here. Anyway, that's all for today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, click on the notification bell to know when I drop a new video. Bye.
You see, Esau Edom, the separate claimed so-called white man, through his media, one of the things she said, they was taught that they can't trust men. Well, Esau Edom, so-called white man, pushed that through his media. And this is why I tell you in Isaiah 30 and 12 that our people trust in oppression. So if the so-called white man set this standard with his iconoclasm, right, with his Renaissance art, that the Most High and the Son look like them. So what are people going to do? They're going to cleave to him that have the power. This is all from the Heavenly Father Yahweh, through his only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. But these devils have conditioned the mind of the people, man. So let me get this. Because look at this. I want to play this chick here. Because this
Feminism.
is about... she titled her video. Look at this. How feminism accidentally created a mental health crisis. And it is a mental health crisis among women. But it wasn't done accidentally. And I'm going to show you after this video, Lord willing, I'm going to play the clip of Aaron Russo. Women's liberation was created. So this chick talking about how feminism accidentally created a mental health crisis. No, it wasn't no accident. This was done by design. Listen.
Feminism promised women freedom and happiness. But today, 66% of Gen Z women describe their mental health as poor or terrible. And the majority of teen girls are in therapy. What went wrong? 1960s feminism had one central complaint: being a woman sucked. Betty Friedan lamented our comfortable concentration camps. Janis Joplin gave us Women is Losers. And the Red Stocking Revolutionaries' manifesto, Feminist Revolution, raged against...
See, this is the trash that Esau pushed on the women. Listen, man. When we read Job 39, when the scriptures say he departed not to a woman understanding, is not talking about the Lord and give the women no knowledge, no wisdom, no understanding. Do you know, if you understand, the Lord created this. This is the Lord's movie. He designed a woman for a great purpose. This is Psalms 68 and 11. It reads, Psalm 68 and 12. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoils. You know how big this is to divide spoils? When you got kings going out making war, women got to divide the spoil, because if you're going to conquer and taking over territories, you know how much spoils is in these countries, in these kingdoms, amongst these kings? That's not no small matter, man. That's not a small matter for a woman to heavily understand no math to divide the spoils. A woman's wisdom has nothing to do with the scriptures, man. It has nothing to do with the scriptures. Listen, a woman's understanding of the Lord is to wear dresses, take care of the house, raise the kids. You got sisters, aunties, female cousins. Then you tell them what you're learning from your man, or if you don't got a man, you learning it from the prophets. Your wisdom is valued in the eyes of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. A woman's value, a woman's wisdom is highly honored according to the Lord's standard, which is to take care of the house. Divide the spoils. The men take care outside of the home. The women take care of everything inside the home. That's not a light thing. In the ancient time, women didn't work. You took care of the home. You know how much wisdom and understanding you got to have to take care of a house? That's why I said in Proverbs 14:1, let's read it. See, because these other groups ain't explaining to you what kind of wisdom that the Lord give a woman. Because you looking at, GMS hate women. No, we don't. We love women. We love women. We need women. Proverbs 14:1, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh down with her hands. When you go to, what's that song, Proverbs 31, it tell you, it say every wise woman built her house right here in Proverbs 14:1. How? Go read Proverbs 31. Go read Ecclesiastes 26. It tell you about wise women that built her house. And the head brother in the hall, you always say, if a woman is not, what's the word he used? If she's not, let me get it right here. Bear with me. If a woman is not an asset, she's a default. If a woman is not an asset to you, by default, she's a liability, man. This is Proverbs 31:1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows, give not thy strength unto women, nor the ways to that which destroyeth kings. Listen, a righteous woman will never destroy kings, but a wicked one will. This is why Solomon said this, Ecclesiastes 7:25. I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, of everything, whether it's righteous or wicked. Solomon sought it out. The Lord gave him the understanding, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of everything, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, traps, man, and her hands is bands. Whosoever pleases God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Now, real quick, because I'm gonna get these. I want to play these videos. Ecclesiastes 25. Let's go here. Ecclesiastes 25. And let me find this real quick. I'm gonna get this one here, then I'm gonna get the one in 26. Where is it? Right here. Ecclesiastes 25:19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Right? So when you go to Ecclesiastes 26, verse 3, look, a good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. But if you're a man that don't fear the Lord, 25:19, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So the Lord gonna give a 2/3 nigga a 2/3 woman. Lord willing, a hopeful elect man, hopeful elect woman. Lord willing. But then you got the scripture, like I tell you in 1 Corinthians, that a woman that's serving Yahweh Shema Shah to the best of her ability, she might have a man in the world. She might have a man in the world. And it ain't up to you to leave because he hate that you watch videos. Or everything that you mention is about not eating unlawful food, and he should be watching videos with you hey, either the Lord going to conform him to your spirit, because it say the unbelieving husband can be saved by believing wife, and the unbelieving wife can be saved by believing husband. So it's not up for you to say, oh, I'm leaving because he ain't. No, you got to wait on the Lord. But situations happen. But the point is, the Lord said, he that fear the Lord in Ecclesiastes 7, he going to escape from these type women. Let's go back to this. And see, this is why the order, let me go here. This is why this order is important with the Lord, man. But women got wisdom, man. Do you know how heavy it is to divide the spoils? What if a king go out and he got 10,000 men go with him? Oh, let me give you an example, right, before I go to this. In Luke, see, you women get caught up in, oh, Jim Miller said women don't got no wisdom. Your ass know the herbs, the spices. A woman's trait is knowing how to perfect food cooking, man. Making homemade breads. All you gotta do, go read the scriptures. Homemade breads. Knowing how to, man, the spices and the seasons and flavors and how to take care. One of the scriptures tell you, if she had lodged the saints' feet, if she had washed the saints' feet, lodged the strangers, that's a part of, you can't be dumb doing that. You can't be no dumb person washing the saints' feet, lodging brothers of a heathen woman. Look at the story of Rahab, man. She couldn't be no slow belly, moving how the Lord had her moving to hide the Israelites, man. You women got to get over this shit. Getting emotional because men telling you, Job 39, the Lord ain't imparted wisdom to women. Your lot is not to be breaking down the scriptures. That's not your lot. Your lot is to cook, take care of the house, take care of kids, divide the spoils. Again, you can't be no slow belly dividing no spoils, man. That takes a lot. Anyway, make a point. In Luke 14, right here. Luke 14, I just want to read this point to make a point. Luke 14 and 31. Or what king goeth to make war against another king, set him not down first, and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. The point I'll make out of this is, what if you are one of the wives of a husband that went out to make war, and he had 20,000 men or 30,000, and they went and conquered whoever they conquered and came back with the spoils? Do you think the men got time to sit down and divide the spoils when they got to go out to war again and conquer? So do you think that's a lesser thing? Because you got to divide all this gold and silver. You women got to break that down. You think that's a light thing? Can you be a slow belly breaking down spoils, dividing the spoils equally? Come on, man. See, this is what Esau have pushed on our women, man. Let me go back to this, because this video is 19 minutes. I'm going to play all of this. And I got another one, Aaron Russo, 3 minutes. Giving you the whole purpose of
Feminism
the whole
promised
feminist
women
movement.
freedom
Check
and
this out.
happiness. But today, 66% of Gen Z women describe their mental health as poor or terrible, and the majority of teen girls are in therapy. What went wrong? 1960s feminism had one central complaint: being a woman sucked. Betty Friedan lamented our comfortable concentration camps. Janis Joplin gave us Women is Losers. And the Red Stocking Revolutionaries' manifesto, Feminist Revolution, raged against all past ideology, literature, and philosophy, products as they are, of male supremacist culture. They even suggested women needed to develop a new language to describe female victimization. Well, we're still speaking English and watching Jane Austen adaptations. And we're still repeating the feminist mantra, it's impossible to be a woman. That feeling was re-upped recently by Gloria in Greta Gerwig's Barbie. On the surface, the legacy of feminism is Barbie world, the world of girl power. Women dominate higher ed, lower ed, political parties, law, and medicine. But when we, like Barbie herself, leave Barbie world and enter the real world, we find post-apocalyptic hellscapes, shocking rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide among the very women and teens most receptive to that feminist foremother's mantra. It is literally impossible to be a woman.
It is literally impossible to be a woman.
That's the infamous line from America Ferrera's Gloria. At a key moment in the film, she sits Barbie down for a little real-world therapy session. Gloria informs a tearful, awakening Barbie that the system is rigged against all uterus havers. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. Gloria personifies a sinister, profoundly seductive therapy culture masquerading as consciousness raising. And Gloria's message? The system is rigged. America Ferrera later told the New York Times, "We can know things and still need to hear them out loud. It can still be cathartic. There are a lot of people who need Feminism 101, whole generations of girls who are just coming up and who don't have the words for the culture they're being raised in." America's analysis of the culture we're raising our girls in? The system is rigged. I'm not here to diminish the difficulties facing young girls, but I am here to say that Feminism 101 misses the boat. And the consequences for young girls, especially liberal young girls, are demonstrably deadly. They're not being raised in a man's world. They're being raised in a therapy culture that rehearses wrongs and licks wounds. Our girls are being trained in the mental habits of depressed, anxious people. Misery loves company, and among America's Gen Z, Gloria's misery has plenty.
And it's heavy because in this video, she ain't talking about Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian women. She's breaking down Edomite women that's destroyed and losing. She said accidentally. No, this was done purposely by the Lord. Because when the downfall of the so-called white man happened, his downfall was, the Lord said, when he set his nest amongst the stars, thence will he bring him down. That goes into the space station. His pride, the so-called white man's arrogance, his technology, his wisdom. This is why I tell you this in Isaiah. See, when this devil went here, Isaiah 24:5, the earth also is defiled. Matter of fact, Isaiah 24:4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. See, this was the downfall of the so-called white man. He's the haughty one. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned and few men left. It's this talking about Israelites. But now the so-called white man is in control. He's the haughty one with the high looks. See? So what the Lord do? He put his women in the plantation first. He put his women in pants first. And through envy of the devil, right? The Lord said in Proverbs 3:31, envy thou not the oppressed and choose none of his ways. But when you go to, this devil had to push this, because they at least know who we are. Wisdom of Solomon 2:23. For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil, which the Lord say, envy thou not the oppressor, in Proverbs 3:31. Nevertheless, through the envy of the devil came death into the world. And they that do hold of his side do find it. Hold on. I got to get this. What does he do? He entices his neighbor, man. Proverbs 16 and 29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into a way that is not good. He shutteth his eyes to devise forward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. Let's get this one. Proverbs 12 and 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. And as Elder Mwatazak did, the elder in L.A., he said, if the spiritual demon, Satan, his physical seed on earth, his counterpart, which is a so-called white man, even the garden talking to this man, right? She talking to this man that gave her this philosophy. Why she didn't go back and tell Adam? Because she wanted the power. So, you women got the power now. Now you complaining. But understand, it's a part of prophecy. We know some women out there, they never wanted this. They never wanted the women's liberation. It's a part of that prophecy being fulfilled of the woman wanting to boast herself over the man. Let's read it. Jeremiah 31 and 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? Talking to the men of Israel, the Lord's woman. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall come past a man. So the Lord said in Deuteronomy 32, since you want to wax fat and kick against me, I'm going to make your women wax fat and kick against you.
Of company. And it is past time for us to save the girls from Barbie's world. And here's how. Now, when I say the girls are sad, how sad are we talking? Fewer than half of Gen Zers describe their mental health as good. 39% of Gen Z Americans report going to therapy weekly, with 42% of them receiving a psychiatric disorder diagnosis. But it turns out that the mental health crisis is gendered. While 56% of Gen Z men describe their mental health as good, only 34% of women do. And when you drill down, it's not all women. More specifically, liberal young women are dragging down the mental health profile of an entire generation. This is not just a vibes-based claim. The data are remarkably consistent across studies and surveys. Depression, anxiety, identity confusion, and therapeutic intervention all rise faster and higher among liberal Gen Z women than any other demographic group. One of the most important studies was a 2022 report titled The Politics of Depression. Using the Monitoring the Future dataset, the only major U.S. survey that asks high school seniors to self-identify as liberal or conservative, researchers tracked depressive symptoms going back decades. Before 2012, there were no significant sex differences. Liberal and conservative teens looked roughly the same. But then something changed. Starting around 2012, depression among liberal girls spiked sharply, rising faster and higher than liberal boys, or conservative girls. Since 2010, liberal girls rose 0.73 points on a 5-point depression scale, where the standard deviation is just 0.89. That's not noise. That is a structural shift. So what happened? The authors of the original study argued that liberal girls suffered because they were alienated in a growing conservative political climate. In other words, the man's world of the 1960s had turned into the Handmaid's Tale level oppression, a claim that seems implausible given what America actually looked like after 2012. There's another layer to this story, one that helps explain how these patterns moved from therapy offices and into politics, classrooms, and culture. In 2014, Jonathan Haidt accepted an invitation to lunch with Greg Lukianoff, president of FIRE, who shared with him a chilling observation. While Greg had spent his career pushing back on college administrators who were suppressing free speech, in 2013 he began to find that it was now the students themselves pushing to ban speakers, censor unsafe ideas, or drive policy changes that would silence dissent. Greg, who had suffered from depression himself, also observed that in cognitive behavioral therapy, patients are taught to identify common cognitive distortions, faulty thinking patterns that both cause and worsen depression. Patterns like catastrophizing, black.
And see the video I showed you, the first one, that was mostly Edomite women in that video. Or it was split. That was mostly Edomite women in that video, for the most part. Because you never know. Them Edomite looking women could be Jakes, who knows. But for the most part, that was Edomite women. So here is her breaking down Edomite women. This is about how feminism accidentally created what? A mental health crisis among Edomite women. You so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian women, you just fell behind the Edomite women. Look at this. I'm finna prove it. 2 Timothy. Everything in the scripture is talking about Jake. This is about Israelites. Look at this, right? When you read verse 1, 2 Timothy 3, listen. This know also that in the latter days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. This is Paul talking about Israelite men without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Now this is about Israelite men. But who's in control of the earth now? The so-called white man. So it say verse 6, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, led away with sin. And lead away captive silly women, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. Who led you to the plantation, to the workplace? The so-called white man did, using his women. Who led you women, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian women, to wear pants? The so-called white women did. For learning, it's a ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Why? Because he gave you plantation Christianity. See? Let me go back to this Jeremiah real quick because I saw something here. You think women want to be doing laborious work? Go back to Jeremiah 31. I saw something here. Verse 24, it reads, and there shall dwell in Judah itself and in all the cities thereof together husbandmen, and they that go forth with flocks. Are you women made to be husbandmen? I would say nay. Who are the husbandmen? It's the men. Look at this. Ecclesiastes, is it 7 and 15? Hate not laborers' work, neither husbandry, which the Most High have ordained. Husbandry is a man's job. It's not for women. So we
Black
are
and white
deceived.
thinking, fortune telling, emotional reasoning. CBT teaches people to notice these patterns, challenge them, and replace them with more accurate ways of thinking. But Greg observed, and Haight agreed, that the students involved in protests, censorship campaigns, and ideological purity tests were using the very same distorted thought patterns, not as problems to correct, but as moral justifications. Catastrophe became proof of oppression. Black and white thinking became virtue. Emotional reasoning replaced evidence. Instead of learning, my thoughts may be lying to me, students were being taught, my emotional reaction proves the system is unjust. It's what Matt Iglesias calls the Taylor-Lorenz explanation, that the world is so broken, unjust, and frightening that Gen Z can't help but be depressed. Iglesias flips that logic. It's not reality making you depressed. Rather, depression makes reality look terrible, and once entrenched, it becomes a feedback loop. Catastrophizing leads to feelings of helplessness. Helplessness leads to rage or despair. Rage gets externalized. Who did this to me? Despair turns inward. What's the point? This is why the popular therapeutic language of naming feelings and validating emotions, while sometimes helpful, can also become dangerous when severed from agency. If your internal narrative constantly tells you that your suffering proves the system is rigged, your nervous system never stands down. And once that framework is culturally reinforced by movies, social media, and political rhetoric, it stops being a private mental health issue and becomes a shared worldview. Which brings us to an uncomfortable conclusion. For a growing number of young women, depression isn't just something they have. It's the lens through which they have been taught to see the world. But who's teaching them? It turns out, largely their online communities. According to Pew Research data, in 2009, the year that Greg's pro-censorship students would have been in 8th or 9th grade, most teenagers who had any phone owned a traditional mobile phone, while only an estimated 5 to 10% had a smartphone. In just 2 years, that number more than doubled to 23%. And by 2013, 37% of American teens carried a smartphone around, right around the time Greg started to notice the rise in student depressive-like behavior. Today, 98% of older teens report daily access to smartphones. But smartphones in themselves are just tools, right? Sure, but they seem to be tools that adolescent girls find particularly impossible to live without, and the results for mental health have been disastrous. In what might be a ray of hope, the teens themselves seem to be aware that something is deeply sick in social media culture. In one study out of Australia, adolescents overwhelmingly blame social media for their worsening mental health. Large-scale studies bear out a significant correlation between unhappiness and new media use, including social media and smartphones. In one study by Jean Twang and W. Keith Campbell, with an N of nearly 250,000 adolescents, teens using digital media less than 1 hour daily reported, quote, substantially higher psychological well-being than those who were on their screens 5 or more hours daily. Shockingly, those heavy users were 48% to 171% more likely to be unhappy, to be low in well-being, or to have suicide risk factors such as depression, suicidal ideation, or past suicide attempts. And who is online the most? Girls. A 2023 Gallup poll found that girls report spending an average of 5.3 hours daily on social media, compared with 4.4 hours for boys. And those extra hours matter a lot. Here's some personal testimony from girls who are online and have, shall we say, robust social media lives.
Because this, and this, no one sees the good clips, so like...
Right, because those aren't what go viral, so...
Yeah, no. But
what gets clipped is you like acting crazy, because that's what's gonna, obviously.
That's what gets views, yeah.
Yeah, but it makes you look some type of way.
Right.
So I would say the Brooklyn hate train definitely started that, like the feeling of depressed.
Mm-hmm. This sounds to me like everything Gloria was describing to Barbie. In the last 60 years, women haven't built on the feminist revolution. We've doubled down on lines like, quote, we regard our feelings as our most important source of political understanding, and handed our daughters and granddaughters smartphones so they can ruminate on their pain without pause. Once an entire generation is encouraged to interpret discomfort, disagreement, or failure as trauma inflicted by external forces, resilience never has a chance to form. Therapy language, stripped of its purpose and weaponized by ideology, stops healing people and starts training them in fragility. And no one is more fragile, it seems, than the liberal girls. 56.3% of Gen Z white liberal women have been told by a healthcare provider that they have a mental health condition. So what can we do? If we actually want to help teenage girls, especially liberal hyper-online girls, break out of the anxiety and mental health spiral we keep talking about, we have to start with something surprisingly basic: agency. Psychologists call this locus of control. It's the difference between believing I can act and shape my life and believing life happens to me. And right now, we are actively training young girls into the second category. They're told their emotions are fragile, their environment is dangerous, their outcomes are determined by systems they didn't choose and can't control. Girls raised almost entirely inside educational institutions, pop culture, and screens hear the same ideological victim narratives over and over. They are conditioned to see themselves primarily as patients. Anxiety increases, passivity follows, and spirals deepen. The message is subtle but relentless. You are acted upon, and the only way out is to dominate men. See my video on the Great Feminization. In contrast, girls who believe they have control over their choices, who are taught to act, to solve problems, to build competence, are more resilient and less depressed. So the solution isn't more labels, more diagnoses, more therapeutic language. It's rebuilding an internal locus of control. And that doesn't happen primarily in lecture halls or on TikTok. It happens offline. Parents cannot just outsource formation to schools and screens anymore. So encourage girls to get outside, get off the phones, get a job, date, fail, rise, and try again. Online life should not be more exciting than their real life. So much for secular wisdom, all of which is a necessary first step to saving the girls. But it's not enough. We need not just secular psychological solutions, but a spiritual renewal. If Gloria represents the catechism our culture gives to girls now, the system is rigged, you are trapped, then history gives us a radically different option. Thomas More. He's best known for writing Utopia, serving as Lord Chancellor, and eventually losing his head to Henry VIII. But he is less remembered for one of his most radical and consequential decisions: how he educated his children. In an age when even elite girls were trained almost exclusively for marriage and court politics, More did something extraordinary. He gave his daughters the same education as his son. He expected his daughters to be clear-eyed about the times in which they lived, and they weren't great, but to understand as well that no system or court could deprive them of their interior beauty or freedom or worth. He believed
Listen to this, man. This is Psalms. See, everything going back to order, man. As it tell you, what was that, 1 Corinthians 14, in the last verse, is it 40? All things shall be done decently and in order. Listen to this, Psalms 128. And starting at verse 1, it reads, Blessed is everyone, men and women, that feareth Yahweh, that walketh in his ways. For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hand, happy shall thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Thy wife, verse 3, Psalms 128 and 3, thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house. Thy children like olive plants round about the table. Behold, that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth Yahweh. You see how it said, thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house.
Education was not about grievance, but about freedom. The freedom to choose well, to govern oneself, and to endure loss without despair. Moore's eldest, Margaret Moore Roper, became a respected scholar. She corresponded with Europe's leading intellectuals, translated Erasmus as a teenager, and was treated as a serious mind in a world that rarely treated women that way. Contrast this with the powerful women of the Tudor court, women who gained influence through spectacle, manipulation, or sexual politics. Running down the list of Henry VIII's wives, that path ended badly for nearly everyone involved. Freedom resides in the soul, and nothing can deprive you of interior freedom gained by a clear conscience. Thomas More died for that conviction. Margaret More didn't have a smartphone on hand, and no Instagram accounts have survived that I know of, but it's hard to imagine her posting a selfie screaming, "We shall overcome," live from Anne Boleyn's execution. Margaret lost her father, her inheritance, and her social standing. If anyone could cry victim, it was a Catholic woman in Tudor England. Yet from the documents we have, we know she remained faithful to his memory, to her faith, and to the formation he had given her. She would go on to educate her own children, including her daughters, who stayed faithful to the church during one of the most volatile moments in English history. So here's the question this episode has been circling the whole time. What kind of women are we forming? Gloria gave Barbie one option. Girls trained from childhood to believe that the system is rigged, that her emotions are evidence, and that her suffering is the center of the story. Thomas More gives us another. Women trained to endure, to rise above, and to raise up those around them with grace. One represents a culture of spectacle, therapy speak, and permanent dissatisfaction, even when dressed up as empowerment. The other represents formation, discipline, and freedom grounded in the truth. Here's the hard part. It means swimming against the tide. It means limiting social media when everyone else is handing out smartphones. It means pushing competence over comfort. It means offering your daughters counter narratives, not because the world is fair, but because they can face.
Hey, and we got to remember, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he's a cunning hunter. So remember, he said, even though this is all according to the Lord, he set his own women up for bait to trap you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitian women. He set his own women up. Because you got to remember, the Lord made the world for Israel's sake. So Esau Edom, the so-called white man, used his own women to trap you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indian, Haitian women, as well as the men. But he used his woman as bait to trap you women, which is the Lord fulfilling Jeremiah 31:22. This prophecy had to come to pass. Just like Ezekiel 4:13, when the Lord said we should eat out of the foul bread among the Gentiles, that prophecy had to come to pass. Well, who created that? The so-called white man. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall come past a man. Esau set the trap. Because this is what he did with Eve in the garden. It's the same spirit. Same spirit, man. But it's still, the Lord set everybody up. Because it still was the downfall of the so-called white man. It still was his downfall.
Every generation catechizes its children, whether it admits it or not. And right now, too many voices are still catechizing girls.
See, they constantly showing you Edomite women. Because see, the whole thing, this whole Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and right to freedom of speech and freedom to bear arms, it was talking about so-called white people, man. This had nothing to do with you so-called Negro, Latino, Native
into
Americans,
fragility,
West Indians,
grievance,
Haitians,
and despair. Even when many of the purported goals of the feminist movement have on paper been achieved. We can choose differently with personal, intentional formation. A formation that demands more from a girl's teachers, parents, and from the girl herself. And if we can do that, then the saddest
See the little Edomite wandering in the field with no care in the world. And
generation doesn't have to stay
then they
that
grew up
way.
and turned into a monster.
If you liked this episode, be sure to subscribe.
All right, so let's get this. Check this out. The whole goal.
Well, one of the things they told me was
the
that
elites pushing this.
He was at the house one night, and he would talk, and he started laughing. He said, "Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about?" And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, you know? And he started to laugh. He said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Why am I an idiot?" He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And they were, one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before Women's Lib. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up their family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for Women's Lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble venture.
Aaron, did you know that Gloria Steinem, in one of her own books, now admits the CIA funded Miss Magazine?
No, I had no idea about that. No, I never heard that.
Yeah, we're gonna
CIA funded Miss Magazine?
Funded Miss Magazine with the stated goal of taxing women and breaking up the family.
No kidding. I never heard that. Well, Nick told me. I mean, I know it, but not because I know the CIA was involved in it.
Well, Gloria Steinem was proud of it. Oh, the CIA wanted to help me help women.
No kidding.
So they funded it, yeah. And of course, it's divide and conquer.
Right,
And
of course.
what they do is they focus in, obviously, on real problems. Women were getting shafted in many ways, but the elite wasn't planning to help them. They were planning to really shaft them and take men away from them. Look at what they did with black families. You only had about 10% illegitimacy 50 years ago in black communities, and now it's over 90%. And look at welfare. You were going to give you some money, but you can't have a man in the house.
Right.
And so that was further to degrade the family. Totally destroyed. And now illegitimacy is over 50% in the general population.
Right. Well, see, the whole thing is these people control the money, so they make all the rules. You understand? And they put whatever rules they want into effect. And the truth is, America has really become a socialist, communistic country. And everybody says it's a capitalistic country. It's not a capitalistic country. You know, how could it be capitalistic when you have a central bank? That's the first. It can't be. You know, the money.
It's a planned economy.
It's a planned economy. It's a phony. If they want to create prosperity, they just print dollars. They just make dollars or put digits into the economy, and then now you have prosperity. You don't have real prosperity. You don't have real manufacturing. You just have money being injected in. It's an infusion of credit,
Which only makes the government go into more debt.
Hey, so there you have it, man. So there you have it. Now let me get this article. I saw this article. Let me see here. Right here. Where is it? I'll read some of this. Right here. So this is titled Emergence and Challenges of Non-Traditional Family Structure in Modern Society. Historically, a nuclear family, also known as an elementary family, atomic family, cereal packet family, or what's this, conjugal family, the conjugal family, was a traditional family structure which is defined as a family group consisted of parents and their children one or more, typically living in one home residence. Statistically speaking, this is no longer the norm. In fact, 80% of households have non-traditional family structures in the United States. Family structures that may be considered non-traditional or alternative include, but are not limited to, single parent families. A single parent raised a child alone, cohabitation, and unmarried couples share a household. Same-sex families, two individuals of the same sex raise a family. Grandparents raising grandchildren, and polygamy, marriage between at least 3 people. Gay and lesbian households increased from 540,000 to 980,000 post legalization of same-sex marriages, and multiple generational households increased from 7 to 26%, which represents a 271% increase over a decade. The change in the common family structure from traditional to non-traditional happened quickly, and the laws have not moved as quickly to keep up with the times. To highlight the change and how quickly it has taken place, considering that in the baby boom of 1960, hold on here, bear with me, there was one dominant family structure with 73% of all children living in a family with 2 married parents in their first marriage by 1980. 61% of children were living in this type of family, and today, less than half, 46%, are in households with 2 married parents. The formation of non-traditional family and the children that may result can bring complex legal issues such as custody, visitation, child support, property division, estate planning, and constitutional issues, to name just a few of the most obvious issues. It reads, these are the legal issues only and do not even touch on the issues of society, of social and emotional issues which exist due to lack of understanding, or it's an and or acceptance in a society still rooted in traditional values. See, this is the Lord destroying Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man system, man, and his family structure. And it's cold because there was a time when the Edomites did the whole thing with the father giving away the daughter, right? The father meeting the boyfriend, all that, man. Some form of things was kind of in order, but that was back in the 50s and 60s. This is before we had GMO food. Yeah, this is before a fruit booty was on the scene. Wasn't no damn fruit booties back in the 50s and the 60s, man. If it was, their ass was secret. But now, over time, it's called conditioning through gradualism. First, they became a fruit booty and they was in the closet. Then they came out the closet. Now the so-called white man that made it, Obama, the damn Hamite, right? Legal equity act rights to the fruit booties and the rainbow sliders. So now you can just come out of the closet. No more in the closet. Now you walk around holding hands, proud about it. It reads, given how quickly the nuclear family has become the non-dominant family structure, one would think the members of non-traditional families will have all of the resources that they need available to them to address all the legal issues we face in our increasingly more complicated modern family society. And unfortunately, due to lack of concrete guidelines, which is Isaiah 24:5, he transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Due to lack of concrete guidelines, often non-traditional families are forced to resolve these legal issues in a court process due to failure to understand the unique issues of their family structure or a lack of legal process. And this is on supposed to be because of this. Let me go here. See, the Lord is destroying these devils, man. Ecclesiasticus 3:9. For the blessing of the father establishes the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. For the verse 11, for the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. So this is about the family structure from the man. This is about the man. Wasn't no damn lawyers and judges. The judges was the elders that set the gates of every Israelite community. Every Israelite city had elders at the gates, man. That was the courtroom. That was the justice system, man. Because they worked for Yahweh. So this devil and came, and this is why I tell you in Ecclesiastes 10:10. This devil got to be removed because he's the counsel of the earth. Ecclesiastes 10:10. A physician cut off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Let's go back to this. This is by way of example, it is the unfortunate reality that some laws may not support the same federal estate of tax benefits in non-traditional households versus traditional. Of course, federal benefits and retirement may not pass to non-married partners or same-sex spouses without actions taken specifically to designate beneficiaries. Proper tax planning and asset planning should be a priority in these households and relationships. However, these are often areas overlooked when dealing with the daily challenges of managing life and households dynamics. When considering that most households have more than one income, likely have purchased real estate, have commingled assets, and may have blended families with children from other parents. Non-married partners or multiple generational households caring for children, the need to plan for the distribution of assets upon death is of paramount importance. However, there is no specific estate plan which is cookie cutter for all non-traditional families to abide by. To ensure that property passes to your non-married partner, same-sex spouse, nor biological children, proper estate plans need to be put into place. These plans may include a will and trusts to ensure that goals of assets distribution are met upon death. See, it was supposed to be this way. Because the father established the houses of children. Let's get this. Ecclesiastes 42. But that's the Isaiah 5. This devil done turned things upside down, man. As he's supposed to. And see, this is supposed to vex you, man. That's what the Lord said in Judges 2. He's going to leave us among these nations that he may prove Israel. Ecclesiastes 42. Let's start at 8. Be not ashamed to inform the unwise and foolish. And this is what the prophet here to do, man. To inform the unwise and foolish. And the extreme age that contended with those that are young. Which is truth. It's truth. That's what the Lord said. You can't put this new wine into an old bottle. But this is what the prophet set up for, man. Thus shall thy be truly learned and approved of all men living. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth. Because that box, man, when she get past that period, that box get hot, man. And the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, least she pass away the flower of her age. It goes back to a woman having her period and being married, least she should be hated. In her virginity, least she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. She went out and gave that box away. And having an husband, least she should be misbehaved. Least she should misbehave herself. And when she is married, least she should be barren. So, hey, she can get married and go cheat on her husband, or she could have a child in her father's house, and the father don't know the dude, or he know of the dude, but that wasn't the dude that he had a plan to be married to. But it all goes back. It said the father, man. You said nothing about no damn woman. But Esau Edom did this. But the Lord using this devil to do that, man. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughingstock to thy enemies and a byword in the city. But it's gonna be known, oh, that's the harlot daughter of such and such, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. But that order, man. So let me get this. This is Mark chapter 3 and 27. That's why Esau plan that the women's lib was to remove the Israelite women, to remove the Israelite man at the house, and he can destroy the women and the children. Mark 3 and 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, and his goods is his woman and children, except he will first bind a strong man, and then he will spoil his house. And this is what Esau did. But guess what? We not ignorant of his devices, man. Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Through his actions, man. Through his actions. And the Lord gave the Holy Spirit to the men of Israel to filter, to gather all the intel of the so-called white man and filter it through the scriptures. Proverbs 25 and 2. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. Hey, and the water Yahweh Shema Shah, because we have these talents to gather the intel of the so-called white man, filtered through the scriptures. That's searching out the matters, man. Ecclesiasticus 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So, what it tell you in let me read this while it's fresh. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his device is. Right? His device is. Look, Psalms 21:11. For he intended evil against thee. They imagine a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. But they did it. But it ain't going to work on a remnant. It's only going to work on 2/3. Another one, Psalms 38 and 12. They also that seek after my life lay snares for me. That was a snare, man. That women's lip was a snare, man. And they that seek my hurt speak mischievous things and imagine deceits all the day long. Then you got the one in Psalms 33 and 10. Yahweh bringeth the counsel of the heathen and not. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. See? They devices, man. These are all the devices of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. What's that other one? Is it Job 5? See? Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform the enterprise. And show you the Lord disappointed that. It's Edomite women caught up in this, man. And it's mostly Edomite women. And the 2/3 of the women that the Lord don't, 2/3 of so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian women that the Lord don't care about anyway. He take it the wives in their own craftiness and the counsel of fathers carry headlong, just like all the different diseases, right? Esau eat them, right? He created all these diseases in a laboratory. But then you gotta think, the Lord said in Deuteronomy 28, he said, even the curses that was not written in the Bible shall cleave to us, right? So we gotta add that in too, man. All the devices, all the things that Esau Edom has done that's not written in the Bible, the Lord had him to create it. That's why they got a Center for Disease Control, man. That's the CDC. That's Esau, man. So it's all part of the Lord's plan anyway, but only for 2/3. So yeah, I just want to make some points on that. Lord was edifying. I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rekah Qurash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishop, elders of great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupants, believing this truth and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shit like to the whole elect. Shalom to the Akwath for listening and learning. If you sisters will listen and learn throughout tuning in, may Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua continue to bless you in your houses. May the blessing of Alexi be upon you.